Mr. Valentine Part 8, A Miraculous Ladybug Fanfiction. If you've not heard the previous 7 parts of this story, you can find a link to them in the description box below. If you haven't already, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and comment down below in support of more fanfiction. Ladybug sat on Adrien's couch, looking out at Paris. Not only was his room bigger than her parents' property, he also had a great view. Sure, she'd seen better during her time as Ladybug, but if she didn't have her Miraculous, she'd be overwhelmed by the glass in front of her. Scratch that. It was still overwhelming. It made her feel small and nugatory, as though anything could remove her existence. She heard the door open behind her and straightened her posture. A bag dropped and footsteps shuffled across the floor, the owner unaware of Ladybug's presence. A sigh came and went, and Adrien sat down beside her, pulling out his phone with headphones in. She glanced over at him, surprised he hadn't noticed her yet. What should she do? Cough? Sneeze? This was more awkward than someone not noticing she was ready to order at a fast food restaurant. He swung his legs over the end of the couch, bringing his head to land on her lap. While the action was natural to do, and he'd surely done it hundreds of times, Adrien looked up in both surprise and horror at her. Ladybug was also taken aback, raising her arms to shoulder level in surprise. In a desperate attempt to quickly sit up and move away from the other, the 2 teenagers managed to clunk heads, leaving Adrien with a bumped head and Ladybug with a sore chin. Silence passed between the 2 of them as they tried to gain their bearings. While there had been multiple awkward moments since getting her Miraculous, Ladybug knew this had to be at the top of the list. She rubbed her chin and waited for him to comment, knowing she'd only be able to speak in half sentences if she started first. "Hey," he finally said, sitting upright with his back to her. He was facing the piano adjacent to the couch as she looked out the window, her back on the cushion behind her. "What brings you here?" "I came to check up on you." "Yeah? Why?" "You looked a little downcast after parting with that girl." "So you made a house call?" "Do you hate it?" "No, Adrien began, spinning around to face her. He lowered his head as a blush spread across his face, and he crossed his legs, looking down in embarrassment for what he was about to say. "It makes me happy, actually. I feel kind of special." While Marinette saw Adrien blush in the past, this was the first time she'd seen him bashful like this. Was it because Ladybug was an idol? Bitterness swept over her, leaving her a little flustered at the idea of being jealous of herself. "So, what happened?" His shoulders slumped. "We broke up." "I'm sorry to hear that. Breakups are tough." "Yeah, well, I'm the one who failed her." "You failed her? Did she say that?" "No, but You should talk to her again. I'm sure she doesn't see it that way." She noticed him turn his head to look out the window. "I hope not," he whispered. Ladybug leaned into the cushions, pushing her arms outward to stretch. "So what happened?" "Why did we break up?" "Yeah." "The relationship was hurting both of us." "Why?" The questions were hard to both ask and answer, but a little more and she would know. Marinette would get her closure by using her mask to ask the hard questions. "Because I like someone else." Adrien looked down, his eyes not focused on anything in particular. He let out an empty sigh, her signal to continue. So what are you going to do about it?
About what?
The person you like. Who are they? Are you going to confess?
Marinette told me to.
So will you? He looked her way, finally making eye contact.
Yeah, maybe.
He shrugged. Your confidence is overwhelming, Agreste. Her sarcasm got him to break out a small smile. Adrien shifted on the couch to face her, making sure to lock his eyes with hers.
Be careful what you wish for, Ladybug.
Oh? She leaned in closer, hoping her presence could pressure him a bit more.
Because you're the one I like.
Had she been Marinette, she would have recoiled in surprise, but somehow her mask helped her to keep her emotions straight. Oh?
Yeah.
Silence passed between them and he looked away, his face a slightly different shade of pink. Ladybug stirred, her mind somehow blank as time drudged onward. Her? He liked her? But he didn't like her. She closed her eyes and sighed, debating her next move. She knew how much it hurt to date Adrien Agreste one-sidedly. Would she want to do it again as Ladybug? She'd never be able to share the little details of her day with him, and she would have to stop talking to Adrien altogether as Marinette to prevent herself from saying something he told Ladybug in confidence. No, that wouldn't work. No matter how she thought about it, there couldn't be a happy ending with Adrien Agreste. It hurt too much to date him as Marinette, and dating him as Ladybug would be heartbreaking because she could never truly be able to be his best friend. Telling him that she, Marinette Duping-Chang, was Ladybug was also out of the question, but not because of the rules they lived by. It was out of the question because he'd feel horrible about rejecting her firsthand, and she'd always wonder what made him choose Ladybug over the most authentic version of herself. It was unfair to think that way, but she knew better than to choose otherwise. Thank you, she said.
I just wanted you to know.
He stood up, moving his body to the piano and plunking out a few notes. It was the same melody as the last time she was here. Gymno, whatever it was. Ladybug wasn't sure what to do next. Leave? Comfort him? There's no good way to turn down someone's feelings. Unless... Adrien, she began. The music stopped.
Yes?
What is your ideal date? He spun around quickly.
What?
It's all I can give you. One date.
When?
Valentine's Day. She could tell his mind was racing, as his expression changed multiple times as he formed an answer, choosing only to nod as a response. Good. It was all she could do for him, after all. A guy like Adrien would understand that she's not trying to reject him. It's just the nature of the work, after all. Cat Noir flashed through her mind as she left, debating what to do for a date. Adrien said anything was fine for him, leaving her to plan the event. Cat's words echoed through her mind, giving her a moment's hesitation. Just one date? Was that her definition of going all out? No, it wasn't. But what could she do? Superheroes don't get to live society's standard storylines. Her agency was powerful, but her choices limited. Great power comes with great responsibility. As meticulous as she was in her planning, Ladybug forgot one small detail. Cat Noir was going all out as well, and he had his own agency to use. Thank you so much for listening. Part 9 is on its way. In the meantime, you can check out other videos on this channel for more fanfiction. I'll catch you next time.